Hey, my name is Landis Elder. I am the associate pastor here at Riverside Church, and I've been serving here since 2015. I came to Christ when I was 6 years old, and as much as a 6-year-old could know about the gospel and know about being separated from God because of sin, I knew without a shadow of doubt that I was a sinner separated from Christ, that I needed Him to change my life. And so at the age of 6, I gave my life to Christ, to repent of my sin, place my faith and trust in Him. For me, when I think about my salvation story, I came to Christ at an early age, but yet there wasn't a lot of spiritual growth that was happening in my life. And it wasn't until I kind of made my faith my own in late high school that I began to see and experience a lot of spiritual growth in my life. And really, I think I can look to that time and see God using that to really draw me into ministry. It was when I was in 11th, 12th grade, I was beginning to make my faith my own, but then in college, I was serving in my student ministry, just trying to find a place to plug in, and I felt God calling me to do something more with my life. We were at Panama City, Florida at a centrifuge camp, and one night we were just kind of walking on the beach, and I remember God just kind of giving me this picture of me standing in the water ankle deep, and said, you know, this is kind of how much you're trusting me right now. You just have ankle deep faith in me. Why don't you just jump in and let me, catch you, to let me, you can trust in me not to let you sink in this water. And so I said, I really don't know what that means, but God, I'll trust you. I'm going to follow you. And through a lot of conversation with my pastors and friends that I trusted deeply, we kind of discerned that God was calling me into ministry. After God called me into ministry, I transferred colleges and transferred to Liberty University. I completed my degree there in theological studies in 2013. After graduating there, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee and took my very first ministry job at a church there. I only got to serve at that church for about a year because tragedy hit in the church. The pastor unfortunately passed away from cancer, and as a church with a large staff, I was one of the very last people hired before his death, and because of that, one of the first to exit. So we're looking for a job and looking for a place to do ministry. Chelsea being from Colorado, we decided, let's go try to do some ministry in Colorado. That seems like a fun place to do ministry, but we think that maybe God is leading us into the Colorado area. So we move here, and through a lot of connections and things, we find Riverside Church, and we were just trying to find a place to get plugged into, not necessarily to find a job, but just a place to be spiritually fed. And through just kind of making connections with the pastors that were here at the time, we kind of started an impromptu interview process, and the Lord really opened up some doors for us, and He made it clear that this was the place that we have been called to do ministry. When I think about Riverside Church and see where we've been and the potential of where we can go, it just makes me so excited. I mean, I look out the door and I see Denver and the downtown area and how Denver is growing, and there's so much potential here for us as a church. I believe with all my heart God has placed us all here for the purpose of sharing the good news, of making disciples, that He can and He will use Riverside to change this city.